ladies. So, where are we? I kind of touched on this already. I had,
high rates, takeoff, stabilize mode, 0 volts.
I'd enjoyed reading folks' goodies and watching folks' videos. Yesterday, the spousal unit and I stood down from our normal activities, and the reason being, of course, is that we like to leave things to the actual tourists. We don't consider ourselves tourists. That is, we're lucky enough to not have to
8.4 volts, middle rates, low rates, throttle active, high rates.
We are lucky enough to where we don't have to be in any hurry to do anything. Yeah, that nanny stuff does not work for me. I cry about it every time, and I still fly the thing. Yeah, perhaps what I'd be better off teaching myself is to, no matter what the orientation is, to figure out what is forward. Does that make sense? Instead of going around like this and saying, "Oh, that's forward, and I shall fly forward." This should be forward in that it should come toward me. See what I'm saying? I'd probably be better off for that. You know, if it's flying sideways, but I do not want it going in whatever direction it's going in, perhaps I'd be better off in teaching myself. Well, that will take a while. Because that tail does not whip around. I think George had alluded to somebody found a God button, but I haven't really been paying attention to the web forums. Boy, it would be nice if they found a God button. You know, a developer button. Man. So the first helicopter I ever bought, proper CP helicopter, was a Blade 200, something like that. And they were all proud. You could send it out and bang the sticks around. Well, what they didn't tell you is, in about 30 minutes, it takes a human being to attenuate his or her hand-eye coordination when it comes to these things. Banging sticks around is no longer fun. What you're wanting is full control. I'm talking about like almost no expo flying, and it's hilarious how genuinely fast your hand-eye coordination picks up on these things. And yeah, they did have a slightly higher rate, and I wore that out in about a half a day. What they needed to do is, it was in their transmitters, they needed to dumb it down, or give you a third option of it not being so damn dumbed down. However, to do that would make an excellent flying helicopter, and they don't want you doing that. They want you to buy the next one. So the Blade 300, let's say. What else? Yeah, sorry about that, George. And I'm also genuinely pleased that you get to do that stuff so I don't have to. I got to spend my money elsewhere. What I do here to my left would be a whole lot cheaper if I did a Holiday Inn Express. A whole lot cheaper. This lifestyle of bringing your own house with your own stuff costs a fortune.
7.8 volts.
And I'm slightly concerned that my current lifestyle is going to be such that I'm going to force an issue and actually live forever, and I don't want to outlive my money. So it isn't that I'm miserly. I'm just smart with my money. Not that you aren't. I mean, it fits your budget. You know, buy. Truly. Also fits your behavior. A lot of people like to collect stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just not a collector. That's the thing I find most interesting about my own personality. Actually, I have a list of things. But in my universe,
7.7 volts.
there's room for everybody, just about, unless you're filled with hate. My personality is such that there's room for just about everyone's behavior. Knock yourself out. But those same people out there that purport to be similar in behavior are not. No. They want you to think exactly like them. I don't do that. It doesn't make me God-like or Solomon-like. It just makes me me.
Low battery, 7.5 volts. Low battery.
Keep in mind I have a fudge factor in battery. I think I had this blink once.
Low battery.
Alright, I don't trust landing on tables or taking off from tables, so we're going to do this. Landing. You want to scoot forward.
Low battery.
The word was you need to scoot forward to stay out of your own...
Throttle hold.
There you go. Your own wash. What else is
Low
new?
battery.
It's fun to see the guys out there appreciate wildlife. I put
7.5 volts.
my life on the line for wildlife
Low
for
battery.
30 years. And you guys are appreciating hummingbirds, that sort of thing. Just glorious.
Telemetry lost.
Absolutely glorious. I have a friend of mine that wants one of those hummingbird face masks with the built-in feeder. Man, that would be awesome. Had a really nice time here. We visited a number of churches. We did the Biodome the other day. That was fun. The only downside was
Flight mode 3.
is that I can genuinely tell when I'm getting to be an old fart. The school buses started dumping out, and it isn't that we dislike children. It's that we dislike ill-behaved children. So all the small young kids, that was great. They what they ended up doing was the folks, their proctors, literally ran roughshod on them, and it was great. You know, they weren't allowed to enter a room screaming at the top of their lungs, which apparently that was what the 14-year-old girls do in another school. Holy crap! That's no, that's not okay.
Blinding.
And it's the teacher's fault.
Throttle active.
Yeah, it's what we consider to be a dick move.
Binding. Throttle hold.
Hanging off. Maybe. Yeah, I should be able to go straight up. I shouldn't be wobbling any. Now this one has tail authority. Nothing else. There's no LiDAR or radar or any kind of DARs. It gives me fair control. So tomorrow, I think, I don't know if you can see it from here or not. There's a mountain. A small mountain, but a mountain nonetheless. That one. That one over there. I'm going to be climbing that thing tomorrow with the dog. And I'm going to bring Mr. Darny McDrone face, as we're supposed to be light winds like now, 6 miles an hour. It'll be same, partly cloudy. That'll be fun. Next stop, we're going to be in, I think, old Quebec. That'll be Wednesday. We were there when just after the Pope had left, and it was very busy and very hot. It was over my wife's birthday. And we got to go into old Quebec, and it was beautiful, but it was a harried trip. She's going to want to go with not so many people, because everybody made the Pope visit their vacation. And yeah, shout outs, of course, to Rowdies. Really appreciate you guys out there as my fellow man, enjoying being tortured by my videos. Yeah. What are you gonna say? It's piffle. Piffle, balderdash, and associated poppycock. Piffalicious. Of course, just speaking about George, Azir, Rick, saw your was it Waco? Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, the biplane, beautiful, and excellent landing by the by. I've been to that field, which is so awesome, and I've met some of those characters. Just a joy. And it was a beautiful day you were flying out there. I like that. What else? McMoyer. Killer helmet. What else? Lantur 8, the young kid that wanted to build the or wanted to acquire a B-17. I think he finally got one. He doesn't see my stuff, but I try to watch everybody's stuff on our little thread. Don't watch it necessarily the day of, but like in the tube deep. He and I have known each other for years now, a decade. And met him in person along with San Diego Ute band. Flew right on that beach. Nice to see Clive, who never sees my stuff either, to get out. And I've developed the thought process that I no longer discuss people that I don't interface with or care for. They're taking up real estate in a mind that doesn't matter. So I don't talk about those dudes at all. Peace and love. What do I tell people? I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I'm not. Listen, it's all I can do to hang around with me 24/7. You know what I'm saying? Of course, beautiful Gretchen and Cynthia. I think Dale is an excellent judge of character. He genuinely is. He and I are members of a bizarre club. And when he tells me that the beauty that these ladies have on the inside is represented 1,000 times over, more so than their external beauty, that makes them truly beautiful. And I'm not talking about worrying about little tiny flaws that we all have. We all got flaws. Ain't nobody perfect. Ain't one perfect person. And in theory, he's long gone. So I'm talking about just as a whole. We look at ourselves as a whole. And of course, young Cassie, she enters high school soon, and I'm all happy about that. She's got to be jazzed. She seems to be such a well-adjusted, beautiful young woman. And of course, Joss, much like my wife, is amazing. Young Gail, Deer being her nemesis, which is just as funny as all get out. We're not going to whack this battery. So now what I'm going to do is, wherever the hell I live, is go work back over to my place and find a little Bell 206. I've got two batteries. AMRC, I don't know if he and I suffer the same thing or not, but man, it's just a hassle. The batteries on my 206 charge sometimes and sometimes not. I don't know, you know, the little light's on, but it doesn't necessarily mean I'm getting juice. So landing. Yeah, what did George call this thing? It's funny as all get out. It's a coffee grinder. Yeah, that one guy that's having trouble. That's what's so funny, you know. People express anger. Listen, I'm not Superman. I'm as far as you can get from Superman, honestly. But I'm fairly grounded. And when you have recreational whiners and gripers out there, and my favorite ones are the ones that love to whine about stuff and got no solution. They whine and gripe, but nary an appropriate solution. You know, they just want to whine and gripe. Yeah, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. 99% of the time, if I whine about something, I actually have a proper solution. Just like Emily at that one RV park. The solution would be to, you know, for lightning to strike her, frankly, because she's never going to be worth a crap. But what's cool about those people is, you know, they're so crappy that they usually are their own undoing. What ends up happening is they just become resolute turds and are unemployable.
Switch warning. Flight mode
And become
3.
part of the system.
Throttle home.
And by system, I mean criminal justice system. But for the most part, I try to
Binding.
generate a solution.
Throttle active.
Taking off. Well, George's detractor, he goes, "These things suck." I'm like, well, that's just... you would have credibility, you turd, if you were to just simply say, man, notwithstanding what you guys are having out there, and most of us, I'm not having a good time with mine. It's not working properly. Instead of saying that, he goes, well, these things suck. And of course, that just puts the reader off. Just makes me not want to respond to him. I'm getting better and better about that, boy. If you play turd, you're just simply not going to get a response. No, grow up. Unfortunately, though, we are in a society, and I'm not going to paint with an extremely broad brush here, but we're in a time. I mean, you got 20-year-olds flying into flak in Germany. When those men, it was men, eventually would move from wherever they lived, they would, y'all have heard me say this before, they would end up having to buy 2 moving trucks. And one was to move their stuff, and the other ones was to move their balls, because they were real ass men. We'll even narrow it down from there. They were real ass human beings. Well, I'm finding that because we live in such an amazing society and people are living longer and you're not having to put up with misery of people dying all the time. You know, these young people, grandpa, they're going to be alive for 100 years. So there's just almost no tragedy in these people's lives. So their ability to deal with any adversity is almost zero. An example, I don't drive up and down the road angry. No, I am not a self-righteous, overly entitled person. I just drive up and down the road. Now, not to say that I don't get angry when somebody pulls out in front of me, which happens every trip, but I don't pop a rivet. And no, I make fun of myself. There was a time in my life where when you pulled out in front of me, I not only wanted you dead, but I would like all your descendants dead and your dog, cat, and yeah. So I'm trying to constantly evolve and also, frankly, give myself a break. When you're angry, run around angry at people, that ain't healthy. No. That is a beautiful little aircraft. And I think I could have had it as low as $47 to the door.
4 minutes.
For just a stupid, you saw what AMRC did to this thing, banged it up twice in his garage. Speaking of which, AMRC, I'll see if I can make this fast. What I have is a community around me of friends, and both privately and then like RC, and then those end up becoming mixed. And one of my friends, on What Did You RC Today, his name's Anthony, we have caused each other to widen our horizons and broaden our expectations. An example of that is I told him he needs the FPV, and he goes, "No, man, that ain't gonna work. I'll get sick. It ain't gonna work." And he bought, I did the very same thing. He bought all the FPV stuff and didn't use it for almost a year because he thought, well, I'm gonna waste a bunch of money and eventually just make myself sick.
3 minutes.
So what he ended up doing was falling in love with it. Well, he was niggling me about the opportunity to fly these 3D planes, these profile planes. I said, well, first of all, they're ugly. Let's just start right there. They're ugly? No. And then I said, second of all, they're relatively expensive. And then you got to put them together. And he goes, I'm telling you, you can toss in things around, crack them, break them, glue them, fly them. They'll give you every bit of the confidence you need and skill set. It'll enhance your skill set. And I go, no, that's horse crap. That goes on for years. And finally, what I ended up doing was sharing with him,
2 minutes.
caving. Well, he knew how to appeal to me, and there's a company called Value Hobbies that has a 2mm version of the 540, which is just pennies. And he says, if you like it, the drivetrain that I'm going to give you, because what he did was he gave me the poor man's drivetrain, which was perfect. It really worked perfectly, and it was hundreds. In the end, I was able to get the Value Hobbies 540 up for $100 and something less than what I would have done if I'd have done Twisted Hobbies. Plus the drivetrain was basically the same. You're just using Sunny Sky. So fell in love with it. He was right all along. The wheels, they look nice, but they're superfluous, and all they do is get broke.
1 minute.
All you got to do is hold on to the little black.
Throttle hold.
A little black, and then let go of it. Give it some throttle. You only need a quarter throttle and let go of it. It's going to fly like a doll, each and every time. One of the things I like about Radio Master above all these other horrifyingly bad radios like Spectrum is that, and it's one thing, and it's Insta-True. So imagine taking your brand new plane out, and you're nervous, And you know that thing ain't trimmed. You know, you tried to get mechanical trim, but it ain't trim. You just flip the switch. Trim. Well, with these foamies, you gotta flip it. Almost every time you take it out, you gotta flip the switch. So, yeah. Reduce your throws, get it to where you can fly it, and then increase your throws, and it'll be awesome. All the best. Is that AMRC's nemesis? I don't know. It doesn't have to be. I told the story earlier about how I got goaded into buying one of these. Modifications. One of the first mods a buddy of mine had me do. That's remember Anthony was to strengthen these points. Strengthen this point heavily, and I didn't do the ones on the ends, and I should have. So I did this with a piece of Blenderm tape, and I should have put it out here as well because I ended up with busted live hinges. But what you end up doing is starting out with baby steps, having the deflection of 45 degrees, starting to fly one of these is not going to be beneficial at all. It's not going to fly. All it's going to do is confuse you and tear up your plane. But if you put normal human being throws on them, you can very quickly attenuate yourself. I cheat further. I use, not all the time, but I use a flight controller. Yes, my friend Dale thinks that the only way you should use a flight controller is if you have a VJJ, but I actually don't subscribe to that. I think they have their place, and mine is you can attenuate it. You can either shut off or on, or it's actually on a dial on this Radio Master. But yeah, real quick for flight controls, and we're doing good. Now, can you see this at all? I'm just going to point them towards the sky and turn it on a little bit, and then bye. I mean, that's it, man. That's why there's no. That's why there's no. That's why there's absolutely no landing gear. All they're going to do is get torn off, worthless. Now, what I did just then was go ahead and flip. Instant trim, and it appears I've done it wrong. Now, the whole idea for these things was for people to learn how to, you know, hang them upside down and fly them, I guess. I don't know. I'm just not into that. But I did like it because it gives you confidence in such a way as to where you can learn how to do aerobatics on a device that's just simply not going to break the bank when you crash it invariably. Yeah, you're in your 30s probably, AMRC, but here's how this works. When you're in your 30s, you're gonna want to always be right. Like, man, I done got everything and I'm right. And same thing in your 40s and 50s. Lessened as time goes on, but you're always going to want to be right. And I'm telling my friend Anthony, I do not want one of these things. They're ugly. They're expensive. No. What's wrong with you? It turns out I was wrong. Best plane I got. If I only had one plane, this would be it.
Middle rate.
So what happens is I don't fly consistently. I'm busy. Look at that thing, middle rates. And as such, also I'm old. I'm 61 years old. So my hand-eye coordination is slowly degrading. But what I'm doing is is I'm keeping my skill set fairly tight by flying a plane that is very acrobatic capable, and forcing myself to learn on it. So like when I'm at Presque Isle and I'm flying every day here, I'll be in about, I don't know, 2 weeks. I'm going to be in a spot in beautiful Maine. I will be flying this damn thing every day, and I will flat out take it off of any type of gyro.
2 minutes.
In fact, what's funny is I'll be flying this thing and I forget that the gyro's off. I'm not really the guy that wants to be, I forget what they call that, 3D in these things and walking around with it hanging from its prop. It just doesn't mean anything to me. I tell people when I hang it from its prop, it's not intentional. It's completely unintentional. It also taught me to fly in wind, and I'm not a fan of flying in wind. I hate it, and I cop to that all the time. In Florida, I don't have to fly in the wind. But you're cheating yourself. You need to learn how to fly in the wind. And of course, people like you, if you didn't learn how to fly in the wind, you just wouldn't fly. Yeah. Thing's a joy.
1 minute.
I have 4 batteries. After about 20 minutes of flying this thing, I'm done.
Throttle hold.
I lost orientation. Big trick here is to make sure I didn't fling off my little camera. It must have been a light flight. I went ahead and took off the, I'd put the zip ties on here, and in doing so, did myself a disservice because it immediately murdered the prop when it crashed. I mean, so I drilled this thing, which I do all the time. And let's see if it hurt it. Can you see how I got it like so? Can you see that? It's not disastrous at all. It just goes. And about the 4th time you do it, you're a genius at it. And you're taking them little landing gear that always catch hell, and you're tossing them. All right, charged 2 batteries. You don't need to see
30 seconds.
my foolishness. For another 5
20
minutes.
seconds.
But you see my point. Oh, and I know what I was going to do. I'll show you my, of course, everybody's different. You know, you're 12 years old, so you're going to have way better hand-eye than
10,
me.
9, 8,
Ooh.
7, 6,
Tree equals
5,
bad.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Every now and then I'll hand catch it, you know, because the purists are like, man, you hand launched it, you got to hand catch it. Well, no. No, I don't. I'm telling you, it's the best plane I have. If it wasn't so damn windy, I'd try it without the gyro. But it's on low. Landing!
Throttle hold.
Okay, let me see if I can show you my throws. Here they is.
Low rate.
So that's low rates. That's it. That's my throws, and that's boring.
Middle rate.
Here's middle rates. I don't know how many degrees that is.
High rate.
Here's high rates, and I could crank all that stuff up if, you know, if I got to be mad, crazy, good.
Middle rate. Low
Yeah,
rate.
no. Yeah. So, oh, and by the way, when you re-glue your live hinges back, and by the way, did I already say this? All the advice I'm giving you, if you don't want to listen to it, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I mean, really. I'm going to share with you. Come on now, go off. But yeah, the thing's fun. Oh, your live hinges, so you tore them loose. I hope you have something similar to it, foam tack. So what you do is you run a thin bead on both sides of that live hinge here, for instance. Let it dry. Pull your control rods off, and then by hand move it 100 times. That way you're not killing your, and you'll be killing your servos. You'll be overstressing them by a mile. So in fact, any new plane you get that has crappy live hinges,
Telemetry
you
lost.
exercise each hinge 100 times. That way you're good to go. Just a pro tip if you didn't already know that. Alrighty, well thanks for hanging out. And it'll take 17 hours to upload this because I'm still in internet hell. I'll show you real quick where this lives. Let's see if I can show you. So that's where this lives, this and the puddle star. And they travel quite nicely here. They doesn't hurt them. Yeah, that's a generator, runs on propane. See ya.